It was Paul Halmos who said, "The only way to learn mathematics is to do mathematics." Hello boys and girls, my name is Miss Aaliyah Brewster and it's time for us to do grade 5 mathematics. Today's topic is shape. So grab a pencil and a notepad, get settled because we're about to start. Are you ready? Because I'm ready. Let's begin. For today's warm-up activity, we will be reciting the 13 times table. You can join in with me. Let's begin. 13 times 1 is 13. 13 times 2 is 26. 13 times 3 is 39. 13 times 4 is 52. 13 times 5 is 65. 13 times 6 is 78. 13 times 7 is 91. 13 times 8 is 104. 13 times 9 is 117. 13 times 10 is 130. 13 times 11 is 143. 13 times 12 is 156. Thank you, boys and girls. I hope you would have enjoyed reciting the 13 times table with me. Now it's time for us to dive into our topic, which is shapes. But before we begin with shapes, let's answer some riddles. Can you guess the correct answer for these riddles? The first one is, I have 4 sides and 4 corners. What am I? I have 4 sides and 4 corners. What am I? The next one, I have 3 sides and 3 corners. What am I? The other, I have 5 sides and 5 corners. What am I? I have 6 sides and 6 corners. What am I? I have 8 sides and 8 corners. What am I? And the final one, I have an infinite side and I have no corners. What am I? Think about it. What shapes have 4 sides, 3 sides, 5 sides, 8 sides, and an infinite amount of sides? For the first one, I have 4 sides and 4 corners. I am a square. I have 3 sides and 3 corners. I am a triangle. I have 5 sides and 5 corners. I am a pentagon. I have 6 sides and 6 corners. I am a hexagon. I have 8 sides and 8 corners. I am a octagon. And the final one, I have an infinite amount of sides and I have no corners. I am a circle. Boys and girls, what you may have noticed is that every shape has its distinct qualities. Some shapes have 3 sides, while others have 4 sides or 6 sides. Each distinct quality helps us to differentiate between the shapes. Now let's move on to discuss what are regular and irregular shapes. By definition, a regular shape has all the sides that are equal and all the inside angles are equal as well. while our irregular shape doesn't have equal sides, nor does it have equal angles. For example, let's look at a triangle. There are many different types of triangle. An equilateral triangle can be defined as a regular shape. Why? Because all three sides of that triangle are equal, meaning each length has the same measurement. So if one side is 3 cm, then the other two sides will be 3 cm as well. Therefore, that triangle has equal angles within it. However, if we were to look at a right angle triangle, that's a triangle with a right angle at its side, and a right angle looks like this, where the 90-degree angle is here, then that right angle triangle cannot be defined as a regular shape, simply because each side is not measured the same. Therefore, it is safe to assume that not all triangles can be classified as regular shapes. Some can be regular, in the case of the equilateral triangle, while others might be irregular in the case of the right angle triangle. Let's discuss more about regular and irregular shapes using a chart. From the chart, you may observe that we have various shapes and a regular and irregular version of each shape. We would have discussed a triangle and how a triangle can be regular as well as irregular. We said a triangle is regular if all the sides are equal and all the angles within the triangle are equal as well. However, if you look on the side that is irregular, you would notice that that triangle is clearly not measured equally. Let's move on to a square. A square is sometimes called a quadrilateral, meaning it has 4 sides. You would notice that under the regular column, we have a perfect square with each side measuring the same. While in the irregular column, you would notice that that shape as well has 4 sides and 4 corners. However, those sides do not match. They're not the same and they're not equal. Now we can move on to a pentagon. A pentagon has 5 sides. A regular pentagon, each side would be measured the same. However, an irregular pentagon would have 5 sides as well, but it wouldn't look the same. They look different. Each side almost has a different angle or a different measurement. A hexagon has 6 sides. A regular hexagon would have each side with the same measurement, while an irregular hexagon also has 6 sides. However, each side would have its own measurement. An octagon has 8 equal sides. That is a regular octagon. However, an irregular octagon has 8 sides as well, but each side does not measure the same. What you should take away from this lesson is that regular shapes, each side is measured equally, while irregular shapes, the sides are not measured equally. That's why we call them irregular. Now that we would have learned about regular and irregular shapes, it is time for you to try an activity on your own. For this activity, I would like for you to identify whether each shape is regular or irregular. If you would have guessed that the first shape, which is the rectangle, is irregular, then you would be correct. Why would we define a rectangle as irregular? We would define it as irregular because each side is not measured the same. it is not measured the same. The right angle has 2 long sides and 2 short sides. The triangle. The triangle on the screen there is clearly equilateral, therefore we can define it as regular. While the hectagon can be described as regular because each side is measured in the same measurement, as far as we can see and observe. While the arrow can be described as irregular. And the other shape that looks like an arrowhead is also irregular because the sides there are clearly not equal. And lastly, the square, we can define that as regular because a square, as you know, each side is measured equally. Thank you, boys and girls, for participating in today's activity. Remember, the only way to learn mathematics is to do mathematics. This means that even though our study time might be over, that does not mean that you have to stop practicing. Remember, if you want to be successful at your upcoming exam, you have to continue to practice to perfect mathematics. Thank you once again for tuning in, and goodbye.